pleased to call to leadership positions in this republic. We seek guidance to treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests you have committed to our charge. Amen. So, honorable senators, you use the supplementary order paper, which I think has been provided.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair. Order number 3, messages.
Senator Chararge, what is your intervention?
Mr. Speaker, the clerk is reading out the order of the day, but you are informing us there is a supplementary order paper, but we are yet to see in our gadget, so it is important so that we are in tandem, because we can't trace it. Thank you, Speaker.
Okay. Fresh.
Order number 4, petitions.
I'm deferring all petitions again. Next order. I've said I've deferred all the petitions in the interest of time. Next order.
Order number 5, papers.
Chair J-Lag. Okay, it's not there. Majority Leader. Huh? Huh? Senator Agnezani.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We look like we're having problems with our gadgets. We're trying to follow the order, the new supplementary. None of us is able to open. So can we find a way forward, either technologically, or how are we going to proceed? But there's a problem. These gadgets are not opening at the moment. Thank you.
Yes, Secretariat, what is it? Okay, can the technicians look at the gadgets? Have you managed to open? Huh? Are we there? Actually, the papers that are being laid are in the old order paper. So, as you try to sort out the problem, you can use the old order paper. So there was Chairman Jailak. Order, Senator Jarurke. Leader of majority. Order, Senator Murkomen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the Senate today, Tuesday, 4th August 2020. Number 1, the fiber crops regulation 2020. Number 2, the horticultural crops regulations 2020. I thank you.
Next order. Any member from the jailer? Yeah. Oh, Senator Sakaja. Senator Haniri, what's your intervention?
Mr. Speaker, I heard you say that
yeah.
we can proceed because the paper is being laid on the old order paper. But I want to inform you that the gadgets are not opening. Even the old order paper, we don't have. So we cannot follow what is the proceedings of the House without the order paper. Even the old one is not there.
Senator Mazayo? Is that the common problem?
Asante Bwana Spika. Bwana Spika, ni jambo la kusikitisha kwamba tuko na department ama kitengo ambacho kinahusikana na mambo ya kutengeza hivi vidude ama tunaviita sijui vilolopipo. Ikiwa vilolopipo.
Tulisema inaitwa nini?
Vipopolipo. Vipopolipo. Bwana Spika, lakini cha muhimu zaidi ni kwamba ni kwa nini hivi leo katika mitandao ambao sisi tunapewa hapa ndani ya bunge la Senate ni leo peke yake ndio hii mitandao haifanyi kazi, na wale ambao wanahusika ingekuwa muhimu Bwana ikiwa unaweza kutoa uamuzi ya kwamba hivi vilolopipo ama hivi popolipo pamoja na hii mitandao ambao tuko nayo hapa ifanye kazi mara moja, waambie wafungue. Asante.
We have the technicians to assist in Senator Chararge, what's your intervention?
I think, Mr. Speaker, this is a very serious day and there are serious issues we are supposed to discuss. I think the Secretariat should in future, at least if they're experiencing challenges, should let the House know in advance so that we are well prepared. But at this point, Mr. Speaker, my suggestion is we can proceed, but Mr. Speaker, I'm just giving an opinion. You will have your time to speak. Let us proceed, but at least in the next few minutes, Mr. Speaker, the technological challenges can be rectified, because I don't want to go to say we can be able to get papers here since because of the challenges of COVID. So in my own opinion, let us proceed with the order of the day as the Secretariat works around the clock in ensuring that it's fixed. I thank you, Speaker.
Senator Aaron Cheriot.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is rather unfortunate on such a day, but I just wish, because I can hear some colleagues saying we adjourn, but I think we can make do. We have the Senate business on the official WhatsApp page. It is posted there, so people can access it. Everyone who has a phone and the members there.
It's on your WhatsApp.
So the supplementary
business.
order paper is there, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, open your WhatsApp. Yeah, okay. Okay, Senator Kindiki Kiduri.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, I'm in support of us continuing on condition that we don't pass the contentious formula.
Yeah, out of order, Senator Kindiki. Senator Sakaja.
Mr. Speaker, I don't understand why you've let Senator Cheriot get off with that proposal of WhatsApp. He's a commissioner, and if anything, he needs to come to report to this House, because even last time we had challenges with some of the mics. I remember Senator Ledama was contributing, we could not hear. Today, Mr. Speaker, I'm made to understand that there are certain amendments to my motion, and no one can see it, Mr. Speaker. So, you know, we need a report from the Commission as to whether this is like the servers or what is happening, so that we also get these amendments. But going forward, Mr. Speaker, for today, please, Mr. Speaker, allow the Secretariat to print out the order paper, because I hear there are 3 amendments to the formula, and we are already discussing the motion that I brought before the House, Mr. Speaker. So that we can all look at it, let's look at the math and decide how to move forward, Mr. Speaker. I would urge, if the technical system is not sorted out, we all get a hard copy of those proposals by, I think, Senator Wamatangi and Senator Orengo, so that we can also be, bring ourselves up to speed with that, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, they are going to run hard copies, which will be brought. Can we make progress? Next order. Chair Jailak, okay, Senator Sakaji. Vice.
Thank you once again, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the Senate today, Tuesday, the 4th of August, 2020. The report of the Standing Committee on Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights on the Elections Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 18 of 2019. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Majority Leader. Yeah, wear your masks, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I wish to give a notice of the following motion. Suspension of the sitting of the Senate outside Nairobi for the 4th session 2020. that aware that pursuant to
Let's
Article
consult in low tones. Yeah. Proceed.
that aware that pursuant to Article 126(1) of the Constitution and Standing Order 31(1) of the Senate by resolution passed on 21st June 2018 resolved that a sitting of the Senate be held away from the traditional premises in Parliament buildings in Nairobi, and that such sitting take place in all regions during the term of the Third Senate. Recognizing that the COVID-19 pandemic has continued to persist in the country, resulting in disruptions to the conduct of the business of the Senate and Parliament as a whole, appreciating that in accordance with the World Health Organization and the Ministry of Health advisory for the containment of the pandemic, a set of guidelines have been issued for both Senate plenary and committee to contain the spread of the pandemic in Parliament, in particular, and in Kenya as a whole. Now, therefore, the Senate resolved that, notwithstanding the resolution of 21st June 2018, the sittings outside Nairobi for the fourth session 2020 to be suspended. I thank you.
The next order is still yours. The motion. Okay.
Which is which? Is it the one for mess?
For yeah.
Let Nani move. I'm a bit unwell.
Senator Wetangula.
Wetangula.
Senator Wetangula. Hello, order members. Let us observe social distancing, please. Please. Let's observe social distancing. It's serious.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to give notice of the following motion. That aware that on the 19th September 2019, Senate resolved to establish a select committee comprising 9 senators to investigate and establish the facts surrounding the leasing of medical equipment in the now 119 beneficiary hospitals countrywide, appreciating that the initial mandate of the select committee lapsed on 5th October 2019 and extensions of the same approved by the Senate on 12th November 2019, on 4th March 2020, and 14th July 2020, respectively, regretting that due to new evidence arising from the hearings revealed important gaps that need to be addressed in the inquiry, and further owing to the sheer scale and magnitude of the investigations and the amount of documents involved, now therefore, the Senate resolves to renew the mandate of the committee by a further period of 34 days to enable the ad hoc committee to conclude its work and table its report in the Senate on or before 8th September 2020.
Okay. Next order.
Order number 7, statements.
Yes, statements are also deferred because of what we have ahead of the House. Next order.
Order number 8, the Mang Beans Bill, Senate Bills number 9 of 2020. First reading. A bill for an act of Parliament to provide for the development, regulation and promotion of the Mang Beans sector and for connected purposes.
Next order.
Order number 9, motion, the suspension of the sittings of the Senate outside Nairobi for the 4th session 2020.
Mimi nimeshindwa kutafuta hii kitu.
Who is moving?
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I wish to move the following motion. Suspension of the sitting of the Senate outside Nairobi for the 4th session 2020. That aware that pursuant to Article 126(1) of the Constitution and Standing Order 31 of the Senate by resolution passed on 21st June 2018 resolved that a sitting of the Senate be held away from the traditional premises in Parliament Building in Nairobi, and that such sitting take place in all regions during the term of the 3rd Senate. Recognizing that the COVID-19 pandemic has continued to persist in the country, resulting in disruptions
Let's consult in low tones
to the conduct of business of the
as we
Senate
observe social
and of the
distancing.
Parliament as a whole. Appreciating that in accordance with the World Health Organization and the Ministry of Health advisory for the containment of the pandemic, a set of guidelines have been issued for both Senate plenary and committee to contain the spread of the pandemic in Parliament in particular, and in Kenya as a whole. Now, therefore, the Senate resolves that, notwithstanding the resolution of 21st June 2018, the sitting outside Nairobi for the 4th session 2020 be suspended. Mr. Speaker, this is fairly a procedural motion and a very straightforward motion. The reason why we are not having this sitting outside Nairobi this year is because of the challenges we are facing. So therefore, I wish to request Senator Mutula Jr. to second. I thank you.
Yes, Mutula Jr.
Thank you, Speaker. This is a straightforward motion. We cannot sit outside Nairobi because of the prevailing circumstances of COVID. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, I think for this session, we should postpone this visit to another time. I second.
Okay, other members. Honorable, take your seats, please. I now propose the question, which is that aware that pursuant to Article 126(1) of the Constitution and Standing Order 31 of Senate, the Senate by resolution passed on 21st June 2018 resolved that a sitting of the Senate be held away from traditional premises in Parliament buildings in Nairobi, and such sittings take place in all regions during the term of the 3rd Senate. Recognizing that the COVID-19 pandemic has continued to persist in the country, resulting in disruptions to the conduct of business of the Senate and of Parliament as a whole, and appreciating that in accordance with the World Health Organization and the Ministry of Health advisory for containment of the pandemic, a set of guidelines have been issued for both Senate plenary and committees to contain the spread of the pandemic in Parliament in particular and in Kenya as a whole. Now, therefore, the Senate resolves that, notwithstanding the resolution of 21st June 2018, the sittings outside Nairobi for the 4th session 2020 be suspended. I put the question. Because that are aware that pursuant to Article 126(1) of the Constitution and Standing Order 31(1) of the Senate by resolution passed on 21st June 2018 resolved that a sitting of the Senate be held away from traditional premises in Parliament buildings in Nairobi, and that such sittings take place in all regions during the term of the 3rd Senate. Recognizing that the COVID-19 pandemic has continued to persist in the country, resulting in disruptions to the conduct of business of the Senate and Parliament as a whole. Appreciating that in accordance with the World Health Organization and the Ministry of Health advisory for the containment of the pandemic, a set of guidelines have been issued for both Senate plenary and committee to contain the spread of the pandemic in Parliament, in particular in Kenya as a whole. Now, therefore, the Senate resolves that notwithstanding the resolution of 21st June 2018, the sitting outside Nairobi for the fourth session 2020 be suspended. As a matter of that opinion, say aye. As a matter of a contrary view, say nay. The ayes have it. Next. Yeah. No, what of the... Next order.
Order number 10, extension of the mandate of the ad hoc committee on managed medical equipment services.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to move the following motion, that aware that on 19 September 2019, Senate resolved to establish a select committee comprising 9 senators to investigate and establish the facts surrounding the leasing of the medical equipment in the now 119 beneficial hospitals countrywide, appreciating that the initial mandate of the select committee lapsed on 5th October 2019 and the extensions of the same approved by the Senate on 12th November 2019, 4th March 2020, and 14th July 2020 respectively, regretting that due to new evidence arising from the hearings revealed important gaps that need to be addressed in the inquiry, and further owing to the sheer scale and magnitude of the investigations and the amount of documentation involved, now therefore, the Senate resolves to renew the mandate of the committee by a further period of 34 days to enable the ad hoc committee to conclude its work and table its report in the Senate on or before 8th September 2020. Mr. Speaker, this is a request to the House to expand the time of the committee, that is ad hoc on maize program. So far, Mr. Speaker, I want to inform the Senate that all the hearings have been concluded. A raw draft of the report is nearly concluded. Last week, Mr. Speaker, you may recall you approved our retreat to Naivasha, and we worked round the clock for 4 days. And we are aware that all things being equal, the House is to take a recess for about a month at the end of the sitting today. The committee, Mr. Speaker, has done, in my humble view, a very sterling job in trying to unearth this difficult situation where each of our counties has been paying huge sums of money towards a suspect scheme, and we want as a committee to bring to this House a report that is deep, that is well researched, that is factual, that brings to a conclusive and definitive end to this saga of leasing medical equipment. I don't want to go into the details, Mr. Speaker, but members may recall that some of our hearings have been aired live on several national televisions, and we thank the media for that. And the responses we have been receiving from the public have been quite positive. I want to urge the House, Mr. Speaker, that if we are not going on recess, we probably would have brought the report to the House in the next 10 days or less. I want to also confirm to the House, Mr. Speaker, that the membership of the committee of 9 members have been extremely engaged and very cooperative. In most of our sittings, we have been having 100% turnout of members asking very inquisitorial questions. We have had Zoom meetings last week with the former minister, Mailu, all the way from Geneva, the former Attorney General and others. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to urge the House to give the committee this extension so that we can bring the report at the opening of this House after the recess, and we will not, and I promise we will not, come back to the House to ask for any further extension. I want to invite, Mr. Speaker, as I beg to move the motion, Senator Millicent Omanga, a member of the committee, to second the motion, and urge the House to give us this support so that we can put this aside and go to the real business of the day today. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to move.
Asante Bwana Spika. Napenda kuunga mkono mswada wa kutaka komiti maalum ya kuangalia MES, kamati ya MES iweze kupata muda kidogo uongezewe. Kusema kweli Bwana Spika, kamati imeweza kufanya kazi mzuri sana. Tungepata siku nyingine 2-3 kama nyumba. Hatukuwa leo tunamaliza mula huu, tungeweza kuleta ripoti kwenye floor ya Senate. Bwana Speaker, I second.
I was going to tell you to be careful. Look at your standing orders. Okay, Honorable Senators, I now propose that you are aware that on 19 September 2019, Senate resolved to establish a select committee comprising 9 senators to investigate and establish the facts surrounding the leasing of the medical equipment in the now 119. Take your seat, Senator Shiro. Facts surrounding the leasing of the medical equipment in the now 119 beneficiary hospitals countrywide. Appreciating that the initial mandate of the select committee lapsed on 5th October 2019, an extension of the same approved by the Senate on 12th November 2019, on 4th March 2020, and on 14th July 2020, respectively. Regretting that due to new evidence arising from the hearings revealed important gaps that need to be addressed in the inquiry, and further owing to the sheer scale and magnitude of the investigations and the amount of documentation involved, now therefore the Senate resolves to renew the mandate of the committee by a further period of 34 days to enable the ad hoc committee to conclude its work and table its report to the Senate on or before 8 September 2020. Senator Rose Nyamunga.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. I rise to support the extension for the period that is required by the committee, the ad hoc committee on meds. Mr. Speaker, I have faith in the committee and taking into account the work that we have seen them do. It is very important, Mr. Speaker, that we get to the root of the truth on medical equipment leasing, because many counties have lost a lot of money, and it is important for us to get to the root and solve this problem once and for all. And I want to urge the committee that let it be the last extension so that we conclude this matter, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Senator Mwaura Isaac, then Senator Lagat from the other chamber, start coming forward.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika. Nafikiri naunga mkono kuongezwa kwa muda kwa hii kamati maalum, na nafikiri niwaambie kwamba wamechukua muda zaidi tayari, kwa sababu nafikiri wiki iliyopita waliweza kwenda katika mahala pa faraga ili waweze kutatua masala ibuka ambayo yanahusu hii ripoti maalum. Lakini Mheshimiwa Spika, hili ni jambo sugu ambalo Wakenya wengi wanadadisi kwamba itaonyesha ubabe wa bunge la Seneti. Kwa hiyo tunawahusi waangazie kwa kina na maana zaidi ili tuweze kuondoa huu ubadhirifu wa rasilimali za nchi na ili tuweze kuwa na afueni katika sekta ya afya. Mheshimiwa Spika, naunga mkono.
Mutula Kilonzo Jr. And don't come too close to the speaker. Those who are coming to consult. Proceed, Senator.
Speaker, I think they should put a screen for you so that we don't approach you too much. Mr. Speaker, I rise to support, but at the same time say that this is the longest serving ad hoc committee, Of course, on the last day, there's nothing much we can do but give you an extension. And we hope Senator Fatuma Dulo and Senator Wetangula that you will not disappoint us. We are extending this because we don't want you to disappoint us. So, and we have seen what is in the public domain. We are already making our own conclusions. The Court of Public Opinion has confirmed. So all you need is to validate what we have always thought about medical leasing equipment was a mess. I support.
Senator Lagarde, then I will put the question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for also giving me this opportunity to support this particular motion on the extension of the time for this very important committee or ad hoc committee on medical equipment. Mr. Speaker, I know very well at the point when this particular committee was almost at a conclusion, the challenge of COVID-19 ended or came into this country. And the committee has been facing a lot of challenges, also meeting various members that were supposed to give very important information, and most of them, Mr. Speaker, were promoted to be ambassadors in other countries, and it wasn't easy to reach them. So I do support, Mr. Speaker, and urge the committee that this is a very important area that every Kenyan is looking forward. You know, mess has become a mess, and every Kenyan, Mr. Speaker, is looking forward for a solution to this particular problem, which has been taking money for the counties right from the source to the tune of 200 million every year. So I want to support the extension of the time for this committee and actually tell them the importance of the same is highly expected by the Kenyans. So, Mr. Speaker, I support this particular extension. Thank you.
Okay, order. Take your seats, senators. Senator Malala, take your seat. Senator Malala, take your seat. Honorable senators, I now put the question, which is that aware that on 19 September 2019, Senate resolved to establish a select committee comprising 9 senators to investigate and establish the facts surrounding the leasing of the medical equipment in now 119 beneficiary hospital countrywide, appreciating that the initial mandate of the select committee lapsed on 5th October 2019 and extensions of the same approved by the Senate on 12th November 2019, on 4th March 2020, and on 14th July 2020 respectively, regretting that due to new evidence arising from the hearings revealed important gaps that need to be addressed in the inquiry, and further owing to the sheer scale and magnitude of investigations and the amount of documentation involved, now therefore the Senate resolves to renew the mandate of the committee by a further period of 34 days to enable the ad hoc committee to conclude its work and table a report in the Senate on or before 8 September 2020. As many of that opinion say aye. As many of the contrary view say nay. The ayes have it. Let me call the leader of majority to issue a statement before we go to the next order.
It's long, Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, pursuant to Standing Order 52-1, I hereby present to the Senate the business of the House for Tuesday, 8 September 2020, pursuant to the calendar passed on 27 February 2020 and as amended by resolution made on 17 March, 14 April, and 2 June 2020, respectively. The Senate is scheduled to proceed on recess at the rise of the Senate today, 4th August 2020, until Tuesday, 8 September 2020. On that day, Tuesday, 8 September 2020, the Senate Business Committee will meet to schedule the business of the Senate. The Senate will consider bills scheduled for second reading and those at the Committee of the Whole stages on 8 September 2020. The Senate will also continue with consideration of business that will not be concluded in today's order paper. including motions, petitions, and statements. Mr. Speaker, sir, I would like to commend all senators for the work we have been able to do even under the prevailing COVID pandemic circumstances. I would particularly wish to commend senators for the work that we have done in this session so far, including passage and subsequent enactment into law of the following bills. Number 1, County Government Amendment. Number 2, Bill, Senate Bill number 7 of 2017. Number 2, County Government Amendment Bill, Senate Bill number 11 of 2017.
Order. Let's consult in low tones. There seems to be, Senator Charadige, you have become a nomad again.
Number 3, the Office of the County Bill, Senate Bill number 3 of 2018. Number 4, the Petition to County Assemblies Procedure Bill, Senate Bills number 22 of 2018. This brings the number of bills that have been passed by the Senate and assented to by His Excellency the President into law to 12 acts of Parliament. However, Mr. Speaker, sir, a total of 19 bills are still due for second reading, and a further 17 bills are at the committee of the whole stage. I am aware that there are more legislative proposals which are under development by individual senators and standing committees. This will undoubtedly, upon approval by the Speaker, increase the total number of bills in the Senate and the workload before us. The Senate Business Committee will continue to prioritize these bills accordingly. In this regard, I urge the relevant standing committee to use the opportunity during the coming recess to expeditiously conclude consideration of these bills and table reports pursuant to the standing orders. Likewise, I urge standing committees to also conclude. Sorry.
Are you through?
No. Mr. Speaker, even as the Senate proceeds on recess, critical business remains relating to financial matters, namely the third basis for revenue allocation among county governments and the County Allocation of Revenue Bill. Following the tabling of the report of the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget on 13 July 2020 on the revenue allocation formula and the concerns that were raised by colleagues on the proposed formula, efforts were made through the intervention of the Senate leadership by constituting a team of senators from both sides to address these concerns. Unfortunately, following from the debate of this motion, which commenced on Tuesday, 28 July 2020, and which is scheduled to resume today, we senators are still grappling on this matter. I continue to urge
people should wear their masks.
My fellow
honorable senators,
colleague senators, that as we resume the debate today, we need to proceed with the patience, understanding, and objectively, as the matter is undoubtedly weighty and timely, Mr. Speaker, as the House of Parliament mandated with the protection of the interests of counties and their government, as stated at the Article 96 of Constitution. We want what is best for not only our individual counties, but all counties collectively. A resolution on this matter will then pass, pave a way for consideration for the County Allocation of Revenue Bill. Mr. Speaker, sir, I thank you and hereby lay the statement on the table of the House. I thank you.
Okay. Next order, Senator Mazayo. Yes, Senator Mutula Kilonzo Jr.
Mr. Speaker, before you move to the next order, I thought it would be, and I have said this severally, perhaps for avoidance of doubt and at the risk of sounding like a broken record, repeat that the report of the majority leader on the business we have conducted cannot be complete without a report of the business that is lying in the National Assembly. We are owed that duty. The members of the SBC might be aware, but this plenary is owed a duty over the pending bills that we have passed. Mr. Speaker, that report is not complete in my view, and I would be happy to have those directions, Mr. Speaker, for the next report to be complete. Thank you.
Okay, I think the leadership of the majority side has noted what has been raised by Senator Mtula Kilonzo Jr. Next order.
Order number 11, motion. Approval of the third basis for revenue allocation among the county governments.
What's your point of order, Senator Murkomen?
Mr. Speaker, I beg to rise on Standing Order 105. Mr. Speaker, which says that a senator who wishes to postpone to some future occasion the further discussion of a question which has been proposed from the chair may, for reasons stated, claim to move that the debate be now adjourned. Mr. Speaker, the subject matter that is before us is extremely important. There is a report of the committee which, Mr. Speaker, Senator Sakaja proposed an amendment to that report. And it is, we say in law, you take judicial notice of the fact that the amendment that was brought by the majority whip was extremely contentious on the floor of this House. And Mr. Speaker, led to a process where even the House was adjourned by 9 o'clock to adjourn the debate that was going on the amendment of Senator Sakaja. Mr. Speaker, I know that there is a debate across the country about division of revenue, and everybody is looking up to the Senate. Senate being the citadel of hope. It is the place that everybody looks at, a place of wisdom. And there are many questions Kenyans are asking. Is this the same Senate that Senator Haji, the chair of BBI, is sitting? Is this the same Senate that Attorney General Emeritus Amos Wako is sitting? Is this the same Senate that has three, Mr. Speaker, senior counsels in law, Senator Orengo, Senator Mogeni? Is this the same Senate, Mr. Speaker, that has elders that the whole country is looking up to for leadership? Why would a Senate with that a repository of knowledge and wisdom and experience be a house where we cannot agree on a process that unites the country? Mr. Speaker, the conversation that is going on at the moment, Senator Sakaja has brought a very important amendment to the committee report, but Mr. Speaker, it has not helped to unite the country. The original report will not help unite the country. But there is an opportunity for all of us as a Senate to have a conversation, Mr. Speaker, around this subject matter and come to a conclusion that, Mr. Speaker, those who are losing by a huge margin may perhaps lose very little. Those who are gaining by a huge margin, Mr. Speaker, may gain a little. And then we keep our country together. Mr. Speaker, it is with this in mind that, Mr. Speaker, I rise to ask that this House, Mr. Speaker, adjourns the debate on this report, and we find ways. We cannot, Mr. Speaker, this House cannot, Mr. Speaker, be defeated to find solution. Because I ask myself, Mr. Speaker, the majority leader in this House comes from a party that got the highest number of MPs from Samburu, from, Mr. Speaker, Narok, from, Mr. Speaker, Garissa. How would even its party leader sitting in this House, Mr. Speaker, feel to vote against Samburu, which gave that party 3 members of parliament? What will Senator Lelekwe go back to Samburu and tell them? And what is the party leader of that party go and tell the people of Samburu? Mr. Speaker, we cannot close our eyes on the fact that if you look at the map, and Senator Orengo captured it very well last week. I wish we listened to Senator Orengo.
And Mr. Speaker, because if you look at the map of the losers, Mr. Speaker, you will realize that there is a big, huge red map of a greater landmass of this country, Mr. Speaker, who are losing. And then there are dots in green in a particular corner that are gaining. And then, Mr. Speaker, we have the confidence to tell the people of Kenya, Kenya is about population. But the definition of a country, its people and its territory, Mr. Speaker. We cannot close our eyes on the conversation that Mandera, Mr. Speaker, even though it has few people now and less occupied by people, is because, Mr. Speaker, its potential has not been exploited. Mr. Speaker, in the same manner, Mr. Speaker, I would say that other counties like Turkana, which are 700,000 people, Mr. Speaker, less than 1 million people,
Senator
if we develop it well, Mr. Speaker.
Order. Senator Cherargei, what's your intervention?
My issue is concerned that my leader, Senator Murkomen, wants to mislead the country. The Kangangata amendment was proposed.
Senator Murkomen, take your seat in the meantime and put on your mask. Please. Okay.
Senator Murkomen is making a very good presentation, but he should not mislead the country on one thing. That the Kangata amendment had proposed to freeze for 3 financial years to ensure the part of the country can find solution to this issue. So my point of order is he should stop misleading the country and tell us that he is supporting Senator Sakaja's amendment instead of glossing over issues. Thank you, Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, first of all, Senator Cherargei, whom I truly respect and I've said in this House, and he truly respects me, who was my very bright student, Mr. Speaker, has moved to a different subject, which is the motion itself. I am moving an adjournment motion, and I'm making a case for this adjournment motion, Mr. Speaker. And I'm saying that, Mr. Speaker, it's not possible. It's not possible, Mr. Speaker, that the rest of us who come from the few parts of our country that are dotted with green, would, Mr. Speaker, congregate in the chambers of this House and disregard completely our brothers and sisters that are crying for conversation. A country that is not able to sit down with its own people, a leadership, Mr. Speaker, of a Senate like this, that has men and women who are aspiring to lead this country, some who are party leaders, cannot, Mr. Speaker, take sides against its citizens, Mr. Speaker. The reason why, Mr. Speaker, today people are not occupying, Mr. Speaker, Turkana, and everybody was running there when we say there is oil, is because of its potential. Let me ask you, Mr. Speaker, there are many counties that are going to get greater resources, but Taita Taveta County, Mr. Speaker, which are Savo National Park, which contributes immensely, Mr. Speaker, to our national resources, Mr. Speaker, is supposed to be one of the counties we should ignore and say there are few people, we forget about it. I am requesting under Standing Order 105, Mr. Speaker, that once more, let's give, Mr. Speaker, reason, Mr. Speaker, an opportunity. Let's give Mr. Speaker, an opportunity.
There's a point of order from Senator Kangata.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 58 of the Senate, and I read to you certain motions not to be moved. Sabbatical 1. No motion which is the same in substance as any question which has been resolved, either in the affirmative or in the negative, may be moved during the preceding 6 months in the same session. Mr. Speaker, sir, before this motion
Can you take your seats? You are standing.
Yeah.
On. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, sir, before this motion is supported by whoever will second it, I need your ruling on the question whether this motion is the same as the motion that was moved last week by Honorable Senator James Orengo, which we voted on, and it was defeated. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
It's different. Whip. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, because it's so obvious. It's so obvious that the adjournment motion Senator Orengo moved was during the amendment of Senator Kangata. And I think, Mr. Speaker, let's make really, I know I was not asked to make any ruling. You will make it at your own time, but allow me to just conclude, Mr. Speaker, what the motion I was moving, unless...
Point of order, Senator Sakaja.
Mr. Speaker, well, at this point, I may not fully agree with the motion by Senator Murkomen, and I'm waiting to hear him. I just like, Mr. Speaker, because you've been asked by the majority whip to make a decision. First, I like to encourage him to be reading things to the end. It's a very nice habit, Mr. Speaker. Standing Order 58 talks about a motion in its substance, and that is mainly substantive motions. But if you go to 58.2, it says, despite even that provision, a motion to rescind the decision on such a question may be moved with your permission. And the fact that you've allowed Senator Murkomen to move it means that you've actually given him permission to move a motion to consider that decision that was made by the House. So, Mr. Speaker, it is just an exhortation to the whip to read more.
Okay, Senator Murkomen, conclude.
So, Mr. Speaker, I was at the point before I was interrupted. Mr. Speaker, I have tremendous respect for Senator Kangata because he's the SONU leader who led us to the streets when I joined first year. And
Whip, can you take your seat?
And it's actually
standing orders.
For the record of the public, when we joined the University of Nairobi, Senator Kangata was the SONU vice chair. So, and he led a very serious demonstration, Mr. Speaker, which we came up to Parliament here to see people like Senator Orengo. And these are the guys we were looking up to. And Mr. Speaker, he was then expelled and sought the help of Senator Mutula. And I'm sure he's very sympathetic to the situation of Makueni, Mr. Speaker, because Senator Mutula came through for him that time. Suffice to note that we went to campaign with him as a councillor in Muranga. So I have a lot of respect for him. And Mr. Speaker, I just wanted to say, I was at the point where I was saying, there is no part of our country that we can really donate to anybody. In fact, I had the trouble, Mr. Speaker, as the chair of devolution committee. I visited Tana River, I visited Garissa, I visited, Mr. Speaker, Wajir, I visited Marsabit and Turkana. And it was deliberate as a devolution committee. We told ourselves, in last time, it was important. Senator Amos Wako bears me witness. And we were given a chance to address county assemblies to understand the marginalization of those regions. Mr. Speaker, I wish our conversation about those counties, Mr. Speaker, would be done when we are visiting those areas. Mr. Speaker, this country, there are parts of this nation that people are still walking without clothes. There are parts of this nation in Wajir where people are drinking water. They have to go for 1 week to get water. Mr. Speaker, for us to appreciate this kind of conversation, I am requesting my colleagues, let's give dialogue one more chance. Let's adjourn this motion, Mr. Speaker, for us to have a conversation, Mr. Speaker, on how to find a way forward that, Mr. Speaker, can unite all of us.
Senator Bogisho.
And Mr. Speaker,
there's another point of order from the leader of Majority. Try to conclude, Senator Murkomen, so that
I'm concluding.
But
I'm just saying that the consultations and even distance, keeping the people are not keeping the distances.
Senators, please. Coronavirus is real. Please observe the protocol. Social distance, please, please, please. We are pleading with you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I really want to beg my colleagues, like Senator Orengo attempted last time, I want to try this last attempt to request my colleagues that, Mr. Speaker, we have a chance. Those of us who come from Jubilee and those of us who come from ODM, the people of Kenya respected us and elected Uhuru Kenyatta to become president. He is not president of only the 28 of us. The people of Kenya respected us and gave the former prime minister such large amount of votes that he almost became president.
What's your point of order?
He is a leader for all of us. I request, Mr. Speaker.
There's a point of order. Take your seat, Senator.
Speaker, is the distinguished Senator for Elgeyo Marakwet in order to insinuate that there are only two parties in this house? There is ANC, there is Wiper, Democratic Party, there is KANU, there's CCU, there is Ford Kenya led by yours truly, and the other parties. There's even an independent. You can't insinuate that there are only two parties, Jubilee and ODM. Are you in order?
Senator Murkomen, I think...
Mr. Speaker...
Order, Senator.
Yeah.
You will have to conclude because of time. We have a very heavy agenda ahead of us.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I really beg I was just saying, I recognize Senator Moses Masika Wetangula as the bona fide party leader of Ford Kenya, Mr. Speaker. So I wanted just to go on record. And Mr. Speaker, just to say that the reason why I mentioned Jubilee and I mentioned ODM is because the Bible says, to whom much is given, much is expected. Mr. Speaker, because it is us who are given more votes, the minorities, the marginalized, the corners of this country that gave us these votes that we lead, Mr. Speaker, expect much from us. And the Bible says in Luke chapter 6 that, Mr. Speaker, if you love those who only love you, what benefit is it to you, Mr. Speaker? I know, Mr. Speaker, a whole region, a whole part of the country is suffering. We must demonstrate our love as a Senate to find a lasting solution. And I have no doubt in my mind that reason will prevail if we take off this agenda at the moment. I have seen, Mr. Speaker, as part of my conclusion, other proposed amendments by Senator Wamatangi, among others. This gives us room for us to go and find a lasting and uniting formula. And I beg my brother, Senator Sakaja, even though we have received as many threats and many problems, including headlines, I beg you, my brother, to accept this adjournment motion and be part and support it. Let's find a formula that will unite our country. I beg to move, Mr. Speaker, and request Senator Fakim, Mr. Speaker, from Mombasa, to second.
Just before that order, you know, we are trying to observe the protocols. The following senators, you are sitting in the wrong places, so you go to the extended chamber. Senator Wako, Senator Kajwang. Which Wako? Which Wako? Sergeant at Arms. Which Wako? Senator Mazayo, Senator Pareno, Senator Linturi, Senator Mwaura, Senator Lelegwe, Senator Kangata, Senator Abshiro, and Senator Moi. Senator Faki.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika kwa kunipa fursa hii kuunga mkono mswada wa kuahirisha mjadala ambao ulikuwa unaendelea kuhusiana na mswada ambao umeletwa bungeni na seneta wa Nairobi, Seneta Sakaja. Mheshimiwa Spika, tayari nchi ilikuwa imegawanyika kati ya walala hai na walala hoi. Wale kaunti 19 ambazo zilikuwa zinapoteza pesa walikuwa tunajiita walala hoi, na wale 28 ambao walikuwa wanapata walikuwa wanajiita walala hai. Mheshimiwa Spika, hiyo ingekuwa ni kugawanya nchi yetu ya Kenya ambayo waanzilishi ama waasisi wa nchi hii walitoa damu zao, wakatoa rasilimali zao na wakatoa maisha yao wengine ili kuhakikisha kwamba tunakuwa na Kenya moja. Tunapoimba wimbo wa taifa tunasema haki iwe ngao na mlinzi. Haki hii ni ipi, Mheshimiwa Spika? Tunapozungumzia haki, je, ni sawa kaunti 19 ziweze kupoteza pesa kwa sababu tunapata nyingine 28 ambazo zinaongezewa? Mheshimiwa Spika, hiyo sio haki ambayo tunaizungumzia katika wimbo wetu wa taifa kwamba haki iwe ngao na mlinzi. Kwa Mheshimiwa Spika, pendekezo la kuahirisha mjadala ili tutoe fursa maseneta wakae chini pamoja tuzungumzie swala hili bila kuleta mgawanyiko katika nchi, bila kuleta mgawanyiko katika vyama, kwa sababu tunaona kwamba vyama vilikuwa na hatari ya kupasuka. Mheshimiwa Spika, chama chetu cha ODM, maseneta 7 juzi walipiga kura kupinga mswada wa Mheshimiwa Seneta Kangata na wengine 5 wakapiga kuunga mkono. Mheshimiwa Spika, hiyo ni dhahiri kwamba tayari vyama vilikuwa vinapata misukosuko na hiyo ingesababisha kwamba tunapokwenda mbele, wakati tutakapokuwa tunajadiliana masuala ya BBI, ingekuwa nchi inayopelekwa katika njia ambayo si ya sawa. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, ningempongeza Senator Murkomen ambaye alikuwa kiongozi wange wengi hapo nyuma kwa kuja na fursa hii na mswada huu wa kuahirisha mjadala, kwa sababu inatoa fursa kwa bunge la Senate kuangalia swala hili tena kwa undani zaidi, ili kuhakikisha kwamba haki inatendeka kwa wananchi wote wa Kenya. Mheshimiwa Spika, sisi kama maseneta, sisi kama county tumeunganika katika kiuno. Hatuwezi kusema county fulani haifai ama county fulani haina idadi kubwa ya wananchi. County zote zinategemeana, Mheshimiwa Spika. Kwa hivyo ni lazima tunapozingatia au tunapopeleka miswada ile iweze kuzingatia nchi nzima kwa ujumla. Mheshimiwa Spika, wakati tulipozungumzia swala hili hapo nyuma wiki iliyokwisha, sote tuliona kwamba ipo haja ya sisi kama maseneta kukaa chini na kuangalia kwamba usawa unapatikana katika nchi yetu ya Kenya. Tusiwe na kujipigia kifua kwamba sisi ni wengi ama sisi tunapata. La, wakati unapoangalia, angalia, je, maslahi ya Kenya yako mbele ama maslahi ya nyumbani kwetu ndio yako mbele? Mheshimiwa Spika, tukiweka maslahi ya Kenya mbele, tutaona kwamba ipo haja ya maseneta, ipo haja ya watu kukaa chini na kuhakikisha kwamba haki inatendewa kwa Wakenya wote. Wewe Mheshimiwa Spika, sisi kama mimi kama seneta wa Mombasa tunaunga mkono mswada wa kuahirisha mjadala huu ili tutoe fursa kwa watu kuangalia swala hili kwa makini na kuhakikisha kwamba Kenya inabakia kama Kenya na wananchi wote wanapata haki katika jamhuri yetu ya Kenya. Asante Mheshimiwa Spika kwa kunipa fursa hii. Naunga mkono mswada wa Mheshimiwa Murkomen kuahirisha mjadala. Asante.
Okay, order senators, take your seat. I now propose the question, which is that the debate be now adjourned. Senator Kimani wa Matangi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Now, Mr. Speaker, I rise to oppose that motion to adjourn debate on this on the order paper, Mr. Speaker, on the proposed allocation of funds to counties, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in the first place, because we have to be honest, if we can first, just on the pedestal of honesty, Mr. Speaker, if any person in this country was watching the discussions and the debate on the floor of this House last week, Mr. Speaker, every motion, and especially the motion that was proposed by Senator James Orengo, the minority leader, was defeated amongst resounding pomp and song. And some of the most jubilant people about the defeat of that adjournment motion was the mover of this motion, Mr. Speaker. And so the question is, do we help this country by having been first, as admitted by the mover of the motion, having been in a gridlock that we need to resolve? Do we resolve it by further extending that gridlock, Mr. Speaker? And further to that, Mr. Speaker, we have in this order paper another 3 or 4 proposals to be able to resolve the same matter, Mr. Speaker. And I personally do not think at this point in time, when we have 4 other proposals here, even if, Mr. Speaker, with the debates that were in the past, we had problems, Mr. Speaker, the way forward is to deal with the problem that we had. If we have to dispose of that first motion, dispose of it, go to another one, Mr. Speaker. But at the end of the day, and Mr. Speaker, no one in this chamber can argue that they have not heard the cries of county governments, Mr. Speaker, because they don't even have funds to use in counties, Mr. Speaker. Indeed, the Committee on Finance, which I'm a member, had to be invited last week, Mr. Speaker, to have a discussion with the Cabinet Secretary for Finance on how to ensure that funds still go to counties, Mr. Speaker, because of what has been happening in this House. Mr. Speaker, I do not think at all it is helpful either to the country, either to the Senate, to propose to adjourn the process that we started last week, Mr. Speaker. In our sitting last week on Tuesday, Mr. Speaker, we adjourned the debate because of the curfew at 9 p.m. We sat here, we discussed, we debated. Mr. Speaker, this is a chamber of debate. Issues are resolved in the Senate by talking about those issues, by debating them, by coming up with proposals and counter proposals, Mr. Speaker. The way forward about the current motion, Mr. Speaker, is first to defeat that motion, Mr. Speaker, proceed with the debate, let members air their views, let whoever is disagreeing with either of the proposals put their views, Mr. Speaker, on the table, and then from there we can say what is the way forward. But Mr. Speaker, if we adjourn 100 times, we will never be able to arrive to a solution. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, continuing with the debate does not mean that anyone who debates is either ignorant or, Mr. Speaker, not sensitive to the fact that we need solutions in this country. It is not right to try and depict a picture, Mr. Speaker, that by continuing with the debate that we are ignoring the fact that there are hundreds and thousands and millions of people in this country, Mr. Speaker, who require to be recognized with the interest that they have, Mr. Speaker. My own people of Kiambu expect a resolution. The people of Mandera expect a resolution, Mr. Speaker. And so, Mr. Speaker, I want to propose, Mr. Speaker, that we proceed with the discussion. Let us have the debate. Let us have a healthy debate. Let's have proper contributions. Let's have a resolution to this matter, Mr. Speaker, and ensure that services can proceed to be given to county governments upon a decision by the Senate. We look worse, Mr. Speaker, in my view, by being indecisive than by being decisive, Mr. Speaker. At the opportune time, Mr. Speaker, if we find then that there's a matter that requires to be resolved, Mr. Speaker, then at that time you can advise the House, Mr. Speaker, and we can vote on any other proposal for adjournment, but not adjournment because we fear to get into the discussion, Mr. Speaker. It is the wrong premise to adjourn on, Mr. Speaker. I oppose.
Senator George Haneri.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to support the motion that was moved by the Senator for Elgeyo Marakwet, Senator Kipchumba Murkomen. Mr. Speaker, I will start by debunking what Senator Wamatangi has just put forth as his reasons for opposing the motion. Senator Wamatangi, I just want to tell you that it's only fools who don't change their minds. The fact that we oppose the adjournment that was proposed by James Orengo does not mean that we should also oppose this one. I mean, we've since changed our mind. We think that people should sit down and reason and come up with a formula that will be acceptable to all. Secondly, he says that there are 3 other proposals. That is the more reason why we must adjourn, because some of us, even up to now, I have not had a chance to look at the proposals by Senator Orengo and the other proposals, Mr. Speaker. Up to now, we've not had a chance to look at the order paper. It just came now in. Mr. Speaker, the formula proposed by the committee, if implemented, will mean counties like Vihiga should just close shop and maybe transfer their functions to the national government. In that formula, Vihiga is losing 361 million. So, Speaker, as it is, even with the 361 million, we are barely surviving. So if you take away that from us, then there will be no operations in Vihiga. So we are pleading to our colleagues to understand where we are coming from. The proposals that were being put last week by Senator Kangata were not solving our problem. Those proposals were just postponing our problem. I want to plead with my colleague, Senator Wetangula, my elder brother, my colleague, Senator Wako. What enjoyment will you have if you have plenty of food on your table and your younger brother next door is starving? You can't enjoy. Senator Wako, there is no enjoyment. My brother Wetangula, you cannot enjoy that you have plenty on the table and your kid brother next door is starving. Mr. Speaker, any formula that we will come up with must ensure that no county loses what they already have. Any formula that we come up with. Kangata's proposal was to postpone Mr. Speaker, that is still unacceptable to us.
Senator Hadiri, I think you are now getting into the debate. I think you...
Mr. Speaker, the point I'm trying to argue is that the proposals that are being put forth, like what Ngata was putting forth, what James Orengo here is putting forth, is just to postpone our problem. So we want to adjournment so that we can sit down, where Senator Wetangula had proposed this in our Kamkunji, so that we can sit down and see if we can come up with a formula that will be acceptable to all of us. That's the point I'm trying to make, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Kinyua? Oh, are you through? Senator Haneri, are you through?
Yeah, it's okay, Mr. Speaker. I just wanted to say that we must ensure equity. I want to plead with my colleagues that we support this motion. And this time round, if we go for negotiations, let's be reasonable. Let's leave our hardline stance so that we can come up with a formula that is acceptable to all. I thank you, Speaker.
Senator Sakaja, what is your point of intervention?
Thank you very much.
I encourage you to wear your mask.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I have a problem. She's not 1.5 meters close to me, but if I use it when speaking, I actually have a breathing issue, Mr. Speaker. But I am careful not to spit. Mr. Speaker, my point of order is as follows. You had given direction, Mr. Speaker, on the manner in which amendments are processed, Mr. Speaker. And you said that the amendments to this very important and technical motion must, number one, all go through budget office, and their constitutionality be tested, and the veracity of the figures also be proven, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the system has just come up. And going through some of the amendments, Mr. Speaker, we need you to affirm that indeed they went through that process. Because I can give you one example of an amendment by Senator Wamatangi, providing that Treasury to provide additional funds equal to the losses. Mr. Speaker, this would not pass any constitutional test. So I'm asking that you rule on constitutionality. I'm not debating. Senator Wetangula, I'm not debating.
No, that's not...
I'm not debating. So, Mr. Speaker, I want you to affirm. Mr. Speaker, you gave a ruling that each and every amendment shall go through a certain procedure. I just want you to confirm, Mr. Speaker, because we'll get to that.
Senator Bogisho?
I want you to confirm. I'm on a point of order, Mr. Speaker. Someone cannot rise on a point of order when you're on a point of order. You've been in this house for long, even before I was born.
Okay, cool.
So you know, you don't raise a point of order. Mr. Speaker, just affirm that it went through that process. Just that. Because on the face of it, there's a test of constitutionality that is completely off, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Sakaja, the matter came to my office. I approved it. It was even approved by House Business Committee, where you sit. So it came through the right process. Order, Senator Sakaja. Order. There's a point of order from Senator Cheriot.
Mr. Speaker, Senator Sakaja's point of order is not without validity. We agree that the House Business Committee may have looked at it. You approved. There's only one other check that he needs your confirmation, and that will be it. Parliamentary Budget Office. Just that, Mr. Speaker, kindly.
What's your point of order, Senator Wetangula?
Mr. Speaker, the point of order by the Senator for Nairobi may be valid, but coming at the wrong time. The question before the House is whether we adjourn the debate or not. If indeed he has a point, then at the time those amendments are raised, then he will be legitimately correct to stand and raise the issues he's raising, and the House or the Speaker may decide on what to do. As it is now, do we adjourn or we don't adjourn? That is the question before the House. Not the merit of validity or constitutionality of any matter on the order paper.
Yeah, I think that's a correct position. And I can see a lot of interest, but I want to make this ruling, honorable senators. You know that we have to make a decision and we have a weight matters ahead of us. The way to dispose of this matter now is, of course, to vote. The normal way, we vote a roll call. Pardon? Pardon? I have made that ruling because we must really make progress. Yes, Senator Kindiki.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for that ruling. I want to plead with you to guide us further by reconsidering your own ruling, Mr. Speaker, because this is the most important issue in this country at the moment. And if we are discussing whether or not to adjourn, assuming Senator Murkomen's point of order carries the day, there are consequences. Likewise, even if the motion by Senator Murkomen doesn't carry the day, there are also serious implications. I beg you, Mr. Speaker, to allow a few more senators to ventilate so that if whatever decision is taken, the people of this country can be with the House in that decision, Mr. Speaker.
You know, honorable senators, the whole country is watching us and has been watching us for this is the 7th time. We are just moving forth and backwards. Really, we are going to look ridiculous. We must move forward. We must move forward, honorable senators, because the issues that are being raised now, you know, last time it was, somebody was saying something different, today saying something completely different from what they said, although with a lot of respect to my brother, Senator Khaniri. So I want us to take a vote so that we are able to determine whether we are making progress, whether we are moving forward or not. Because the arguments, people are getting into the substance of the debate, so that we are able, so I direct that the bell be rung for 1 minute.
If you're just tuning in, this is the live proceeding of the Senate, where the approval of the third basis for revenue allocation among county government is currently being discussed. But before the senators got to the gist of the issues pertaining to this particular report by the Finance and Budget Committee of the Senate, the Senator for Elgeyo Marakwet, Senator Kipchumba Murkomen, moved that the House adjourns debate on this motion to pave way for dialogue with the hope of striking a consensus. That particular motion will be voted on as soon as the quorum bell stops ringing. The Senate Speaker, Kenneth Makelo Lusaka, the Honorable, ordered the bell to be rung for a minute. The senators will vote on that proposal by Elgeyo Marakwet Senator. This is the 7th time the senators are discussing the third basis for revenue allocation among the county government.
Leaders, give us a tell us, huh? Okay, order, senators. We are in session. Observe social distancing. Who? Okay, that is for? Yes. Who? Be a teller there. Okay, we are in session, ladies and gentlemen. Senators. Take your seats. Take your seats. Take your seats. Take your seats, senators. Okay, order. Order, we are starting. No. It's everyone. Okay, we are starting. Clerk, take your seats. Take your seats. No, everyone. It's all senators. Start.
Senator Adan Dulo Fatuma.
I vote yes.
Senator Ali Abdullah Ibrahim.
I vote yes.
Okay.
Senator Boy Isa Juma.
I vote yes.
Senator Chebeni Masi. Senator Cherarke Samson Kiprotich.
Mr. Speaker, I vote no.
Senator Cheriot Aaron Kipkurui.
Senator Cheriot.
Senator Chebeni Masi.
I vote no.
Senator Gona.
I vote yes for the amendment. Adjournment.
Senator Gona Christine Zawadi. Senator Haji Farhia Ali.
I vote yes.
Senator Haji Mohammed Yusuf. Senator Halake Abshiro Soka.
I vote yes.
Senator Hargura Godana.
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes.
Senator Iman Falhada Deko.
I vote a big yes.
Senator Imana Malakai. Senator Inima Gertrude Musurube.
I vote no.
Senator Kabaka Boniface Mutinda.
I vote no.
Of course, yes, for this adjournment.
Senator Kajwang Moses Otieno. Senator Kajwang Moses Otieno. Senator Imana Malakai Charles.
I vote yes for the adjournment.
Senator Kamar Margaret.
I vote no.
Senator Kangata Irungu.
I vote no.
Senator Kasanga Sylvia.
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes.
Senator Ghaniri George.
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes for adjournment.
Senator Kajwang Moses Otieno.
I vote no.
Senator Kibiru Charles.
I vote no.
Senator Kihika Susan.
Social distancing,
Wakarura.
please. Social distancing, please. Social distancing.
I vote no.
Senator Kilonzo Mutula Jr.
I vote yes.
Senator Kimani Wamatangi Paul. Senator Kindiki Kidure.
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes.
Senator Kirinyaga Ephraim.
I vote no.
Okay. If possible, vote from your station where you are, where you are sitting, so that we don't overuse the one mic. Okay?
Yes.
Senator Kimani Wamatangi.
I vote no, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Langat Christopher.
Why don't you use? Yeah.
I vote no.
Senator Lelegwe Tumbesi.
I vote yes.
Senator Linturi Franklin Midika.
I vote yes for the adjournment.
Yeah, if you are near a mic, just use the mic that is near to you when you are called. Let's observe social distancing, please. Social distance.
Senator Loitip Anwar. Senator Locorio Petronila.
Vote no. No. No.
I vote yes.
Senator Madzayo Stewart.
The delegation of Kilifi votes yes.
Senator Mahmoud Mohammed.
I vote yes.
Senator Makori Beatrice Kwamboka.
I vote no.
Senator Malala Cleophas.
I vote yes.
Senator Masitsa Naomi Shinyonga.
Speaker, I vote a big no.
Senator Mbito Michael Malinga.
I vote no.
Senator Mbogo George Ochilo.
Can you use the mics that are next to you?
Mr. Speaker, I vote no.
Senator Milgo Alice Chepkorir.
I vote no.
Senator Mogeni Eric Okongo.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, Senior Counsel Okongo Omogeni, with the peace of mind, I vote yes.
Senator Moi Gideon.
No.
Senator Mpaye Philip Silao. Senator Mugo Beth Wamboi. Senator Murkomen Onesmus Kipchumba.
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes.
Senator Mwangi Paul Gidiomi.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I vote no. No.
Senator Mwaruma Jones Mwashushe.
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes.
Senator Mwaura Isaac.
Mheshimiwa Spika, napiga la.
Senator Mwenye Haji Mohamed Faki.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I vote yes.
Senator Nderitu John Kinywa.
Mr. Speaker, the delegation of Laikipia votes no.
Senator Ndwiga Peter Njeru.
Mr. Speaker, Embu votes no.
Senator Nyamunga Ross.
Speaker, I vote no.
Senator Olekina Ledama.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I vote yes.
Senator Omanga Millicent.
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes for adjournment.
Senator Ongeri Samson.
I vote no.
Senator Orengo James.
Mr. Speaker, I vote no.
Senator Outa Frederick Otieno.
Kisumu delegates vote no.
Senator Pareno Judith.
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes.
Senator Pogisho Samuel.
Speaker, I vote no.
Senator Prengei Victor. Senator Sakaja Johnson.
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes. Oh, you didn't hear, Mr. Speaker? Yes. To give that opportunity of wisdom, I vote yes.
Senator Mary.
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes.
Senator Wago Naomi. Senator Wago Naomi.
I vote yes.
Senator Wako Siswila Amos.
Senator Wako, you're supposed to vote.
It's of course yes. Senior counsel.
Observe social distancing. Senators.
On this particular issue, I want to record an abstention.
Senator Wambua Enoch Kio.
Mr. Speaker, to give senators an opportunity to unite this country, I vote yes.
Senator Wario Golich Juma.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I vote yes.
Senator Wetangula Moses.
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes.
Senator Zani Agnes.
I vote yes.
Okay, order, take your seats. If there's any senator who has not voted, take your seats. Senators, take your seats and sit in the right place, please. Please, please.
The mic.
Somebody do my mic is on.
You are watching live proceedings of the Senate. The senators have finished voting on a proposal by the Elgeyo Marakwet senator to adjourn debate on the third basis for revenue allocation among the county governments. The results of that particular vote will be announced shortly by the Speaker of the Senate.
It's permanently on. Okay, order, senators. Take your seat. I can see somebody on his feet when I'm on my feet. Okay, honorable senators, these are the results of the vote. Abstentions, 1. Nays, 26. Ayes, 34. The ayes have it. Senator Wetangula, what's your point of order, Senator Wetangula?
Thank Mr. Speaker, in a book written by a great Tanzanian writer called Shaban bin Robert, the book is called Kusadikika. Shaban Robert says, mara mingi, and I'm quoting in Kiswahili because it's written in Swahili, mara mingi inji huficha mashujaa wake mpaka janga kuu litokee. Janga kuu limetokea. The country is sitting on edge, Mr. Speaker. All eyes are on this Senate. I want to urge you, sir, that having gotten this window, which was my idea in the first place when we had a Kamkunji out here, and we came here with Senator Orengo, we moved this motion, and the House rejected it, as it has the right to do. Now that we have retraced our steps, Mr. Speaker, I want to urge members that under Article 96 of the Constitution, every senator in this House represents all the 47 counties. That's what Article 96 envisages. We represent all the 47 counties. And I want to urge the leadership, the distinguished senator for West Pokot, the distinguished senator for Siaya, your office, Mr. Speaker, and all of us, that now we don't have the luxury of time. We must give the country a direction. Let's not make the country start rethinking the importance of this House. From the petitions that come to this House, Mr. Speaker, you can conclude without any fear of contradiction whatsoever, howsoever, that Kenyans believe in this House. They bring here each and every problem of whatever nature for the House to deal with. I want to urge you, Mr. Speaker, that now that is obvious we are adjourning because the motion by the distinguished senator for Elgeyo Marakwet has been carried. We don't waste time. We look for a venue, sit as the House, and from the last meeting you took us to Bomas, Mr. Speaker, the new extension looked like even with social distancing and the fear of corona, we can still transact our business. Or erect a dome at Nyayo Stadium and lock away everybody. And give these senators an opportunity, Mr. Speaker, with the constitutional body, CRA, the way we did in the last parliament, And those who are here, Senator Cheriot, Senator Orengo, Senator Khaniri, Senator Murkomen, can bear me, Senator Omatangi. We went to Nakuru, Mr. Speaker, Naivasha, at Enashipai. And we came back here and voted as 47 delegations voting yes. And Kenyans were the winner. In a majoritarian situation, Mr. Speaker, the winner takes it all. But is it the way we want to go for this country? Because, Mr. Speaker, we must understand that a pain to one Kenyan is a pain to all Kenyans. And if we take that attitude, Mr. Speaker, my county where you and I come from, Mr. Speaker, was gaining 928 million. But we are ready to let go, to sit with other Kenyans and say, we are ready to lose a little of that money for Wajir to gain a bit of what they have lost. So that we have some degree of equity. And Mr. Speaker, as I finish, one idea that this Senate is blind to. We are fighting over 316 billion in a budget of 3 trillion. Where do the other trillions go? Because if the other trillions were evenly spread and equitably developing the country, this protraction will not be there. But this is Kenya. This is our country. We know our failings. We hope we'll change. And I want to urge, Mr. Speaker, that you hit the ground running. If it means tomorrow you retreat us to solve this problem, let it be. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator James Orengo.
Mr. Speaker, the House has spoken through the vote you have just taken. And Mr. Speaker, you know, I had moved a similar motion and seconded by the senator from Bungoma, Senator Wetangula, and it was negatived. I'm glad that we have another opportunity to move a similar motion, but in contributing to the situation that has arisen, Mr. Speaker, if you read the Constitution on the chapter dealing with public finance and the chapter dealing with devolution, the emphasis is on the word equity throughout. But if you look at the chapter dealing with the Bill of Rights, it talks about equality. Whereas equality...
Social distancing, please, Kangata.
Mr. Speaker, dealing with equality is much easier than dealing with equity. And I think there are two fundamental principles contained in our Constitution. And when it comes to public finance and the allocation of resources, we are dealing with a concept of equity. And Mr. Speaker, that's why, in fact, the last time when I was moving on a point of order to defer debate, my point was that taking a vote on the question of resources is always a very difficult question. But it is better for us to talk and achieve consensus. I emphasized the word consensus the last time, rather than a situation where we are creating gainers and losers. In fact, Mr. Speaker, the simulation of the formulas, I think the original sin was when it was coming out that there were losers and gainers. In a free, democratic country where everybody is equal before the law, we should never be talking about losers and gainers. And finally, Mr. Speaker, in dealing with this very difficult subject about equity, equity is about needs. dealing with needs of communities, of individuals, and of areas of the country which probably are almost impenetrable because they don't lie at the center of the country. So I take this as a positive development, Mr. Speaker. I take it very positively and urge the House, and I would suggest that we meet, if possible, this week. Under the leadership and your guidance, we meet this week and report back Tuesday, next week. The reason why I'm saying this, Mr. Speaker, is because the consideration of the County Allocation of Revenue Bill, understanding order number 182, is time-bound. And this particular matter which is before the House is also time-bound. I therefore urge you that we do consultations in such a way that we'll be able to come back here on Tuesday to consider this same issue. And I hope on Tuesday next week, we will be unanimous in our decision, one way or the other. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Leader of Majority, Senator Bogisho. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Speaker. And Speaker, on strategizing to keep this motion going on, Speaker, I must give credit to the young people who have brought this amendment, this motion. Speaker, it is good to know what a week in time can do. Where, Mr. Speaker, last week, same time, Senator Rengo and Senator Wetangula stood here to say the same thing that was said. I must congratulate Senator Murkomen for being able to change his mind and come over to this other side. Speaker, when we think about the motion on resources, what we have done today is to leave everything as is, which means we require to come back and proceed from where we left things. And so on an appointed day, Speaker, on the day that we appoint, we come back to the motion as it is, we come back to the amendments on the order paper, and we make a decision again. So these consultations, Speaker, are around the same things. And so if we do postpone and extend the time to discuss, there must be therefore an orderly way, Speaker, of arriving at these things. I'm not so sure that the whole House at once needs to meet. I think, Mr. Speaker, that we need probably to start in small groups and proceed on to the entire House. But eventually, Mr. Speaker, we need to have the entire thing sorted out. We need to start afresh. And so we are simply buying time. And buying time, Mr. Speaker, depends now on your negotiation skills, depends on the will of the people. But, Mr. Speaker, because the House has spoken, the House wants to put this matter back on the order paper when we come back. We would want to therefore begin to say, Speaker, that leadership, as has been said, plus the membership of the Senate, reconsider the matters which we have done for so long. We've done this work for so long, Mr. Speaker, we know it like the back of our hand. We know the issues, we know exactly what we want, but we never seem to agree. And so, Mr. Speaker, I just want us to agree that this time, with the moments given, this short time given to us, I hope, Mr. Speaker, that we don't come back to ask again Kenyans for another postponement. We have had these moments before. And Mr. Speaker, that's why we wanted to move ahead today and just deal with the matters as they are. But because the House is supreme, we have agreed, Mr. Speaker, that we just come back. We are still the same people, but I hope this time, Mr. Speaker, we allow all 47 counties to be considered for what they are due, what their dues are. To be allowed, Mr. Speaker, to stop the bleeding, but allow also growth in those counties which have not been growing. I hope those kind of things we can reach a consensus on. So, Mr. Speaker, I do therefore just support and ask my colleagues that we move ahead with speed and bring this matter to a close. We are in agreement. Thank you.
Okay, Senator Mutula, you know you are discussing already a matter that a vote has already been taken. Okay. Okay, 3 minutes, please, so that we... Senator Mutula, okay, you are here. I've listed.
Mr. Speaker, thank you.
And Senator Kidure.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity. One, I was beginning to worry about the Senate, and because this Senate has got members. Mr. Speaker, this Senate has had the privilege of having members, including Wetangula, Senator Orengo, Senator Ongeri, and I can't remember who else, who sat in the National Accord Committee. This is a house of wisdom. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, my plea to the senators, personally, is that there are people who have been making very virulent statements against one another. Let's take this opportunity, and I'm talking to Senator Cherargei. I'm pleading with you to turn to the Lord. I'm pleading with you not to cast aspersions on anybody. I'm pleading with you to ask for prayers, because you are my junior, but you are my chairman. Do not cast aspersions and don't call people bushes. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, yesterday we had a meeting. Speaker, you were present. And in that meeting, we agreed on a framework for counties getting the balance of their payments, which is 29 billion. I was a little disappointed, Mr. Speaker, and I must say it in the floor, that we appeared disjointed as a Senate on counties getting funds as we continue to discuss this matter. While the Supreme Court has already pronounced itself that counties can get resources in the advisory opinion number 3 of 2019, Mr. Speaker, while we are negotiating, I urge you, Mr. Speaker, to get the leadership to agree, even if all of us have to sign, that we concur with the advisory opinion on the Supreme Court, that meanwhile, counties must get their resources, which is up to 50%, as the advisory opinion, which is a judgment of the Supreme Court. Mr. Speaker, I urge Senator Fogisio to sit on his seat as a majority leader and lead us, together with Senator Orengo. We have faith in all you people. My former chairman of WIPA, please lead the troops, because the division that we have seen in this House is in violation of Article 96.3. We must fight the outsiders. And those who are warning senators, we warn them that if you come for our senators, we will come for you too. Thank you.
I'll just allow 2 minutes to Senator Kindeke Kindure, then I'll come. Yeah, it's been queuing, then I'm coming. I'll give you 2 minutes so that we...
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we want to make it clear that it is not true that there will be a crisis in the counties, because they will be able to access 50% of what is due to them based on last year's figures. So we want to tell the media not to promote a narrative that counties will be in a crisis of funds. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, we had begun on a wrong footing where counties were pitted against each other, like the legendary story of Gog and Magog. And Mr. Speaker, I'm happy that this battle has now come to an end, and we are now 47 counties under the territory of Kenya negotiating for good funding of all our 47 counties from the national government, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me say the very bad terms that have been used in this debate must come to an end. Each and every county is unique and has its own different contribution to this country's progress. Mr. Speaker, as I said last time, the counties that are populous and the counties that are less populous must be seen as 2 feet walking our nation to progress and unity. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, the feet that is ahead, the foot that is ahead, must not feel proud or should not be proud. The foot that is behind should not feel ashamed because they know they keep on exchanging positions until they arrive at their destination, Mr. Speaker. I support the decision that has been taken.
Senator Ledama.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm happy that we have this opportunity to be able to go and reason. Mr. Speaker, sir, when I stand here, I know some of my colleagues, like Senator Sakaja, is being harassed, threatened. You know, it is absolutely ludicrous that in this country now, we cannot stand as a Senate and stamp our authority. I'm so proud of the 36 men and women who stood up for Kenya, and that is what we are going to do, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, since we have adjourned now, this time I would like to plead that we all look at all the amendments which are in that order list. We have amendments from Senator Orengo, which in my view is an attempt to rewrite Article 2 or 3 of the Constitution. We have an amendment from Senator Wamatangi. There are other amendments from myself and others. I think the only way we can make progress, if we all sit down, discuss, so that we can figure out how we can be able to move forward, like my colleagues were saying. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, what I'd like to request, everyone out there, give us an opportunity to unite this country.
Leader of majority.
Those threats which are being
There is a point
sent.
of order. There's a point of order.
This one. Okay. Speaker, let me just bring to your attention, Speaker, that for the second time in a very short while, in a short speech that Honorable Ledama has said, he has claimed, Mr. Speaker, that certain members have been threatened. And Mr. Speaker, this is a house. It is only easy, Mr. Speaker, to substantiate instead of just making unsubstantiated claims, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, it's important, Senator Ledama, that is that a point of order? Of course, a point of order, Senator Mazayo.
Asante Bwana Spika. Bwana Spika, ni sawa kama seneta yoyote akiongea kuhusika na matishio ya seneta mwenzake, kama hiyo itakuwa ni makosa ama itakuwa si kulingishana na ule mjadala ulioko katika Senate. Je, ni haki kwa kiongozi wa walio wengi kuuliza swali kama hilo ambalo ni sawa kabisa?
No, aliuliza, he said, since Senator Ledama had claimed that some senators have been threatened, it's only proper that he substantiates, because it's a grave matter that he's raising, if it's true.
Tunajua nani ambaye anashtumiwa kwa kitu kama hicho. Asante Bwana Spika.
Yes, substantiate. What's your point of order, Senator Cherargei?
Mr. Speaker, is it in order to claim by Senator Ledama that there are some members are being threatened without substantiating and telling us by who? Secondly, it is the same senator who was tweeting today and casting aspersion on the same house that some senators have been paid 5 million. He is the same person who wrote in his official Twitter handle by saying some senators have been paid 5 million shillings, Mr. Speaker. So is he casting aspersion on the same members that is accusing some agencies of threatening them?
What's your point of order, Senator Wetangula?
Mr. Speaker, I want to plead with the senators. We are dealing with a grave matter. Let's not be diversionary. Because by being diversionary, we're playing in the hands of those who don't want this Senate to do its job and succeed. Let's focus on what we are here to do. Keep your eyes on the ball and don't be distracted.
Madam Speaker, as you prepare to take your seat, thank you, Madam Speaker. As you prepare to take your seat, Madam Speaker, I want to be very categorical that we do not live in oblivious. We know what is happening in this country. Madam Speaker, some of us wake up at 3 in the morning and we read news. We see what is being portrayed out there. I was very shocked when I saw a big banner on a highway which is targeting my colleague, Senator Sakaja. These are things which are out there. I know the majority leader has asked me to substantiate, and I shall. When I came into this house, I met the distinguished senator in his office. Very few people know that he must have spent part of his night in this bunge so that he can be able to be safe. You know, this country, let me just be very clear. We are all mortal beings, and no one will live forever. What we are doing here is the duty. We were elected to come here and defend our people. So when I stand here and I defend my colleague, I care about the people of Nairobi who he represents. So, Madam Speaker, I will not even respond to the statement by Senator Gerald Gay, because it was not, I did not make that statement in this house. You can ask me from another platform and I shall do it. So what I'm saying, for me to sit down, Madam Speaker, is that when now we have adjourned, let us unite this country, let us not divide it, because when we divide, we'll go down in history as a house which was controlled by a remote control outside. We are elected. And there should be a difference between an elected leader and somebody who is appointed out there to call the shots. I'll be very happy, Madam Speaker, if this country
Honorable Senator, you are confusing the system. We don't know whether you are on a point of order or you were contributing to adjournment or what was it, because we need to agree on a way forward.
Madam Speaker, I actually do not blame you because you just walked in. Your brother, the Speaker, had given me an opportunity to comment on his...
Were you to substantiate on something?
And then, during the comment, I made statements which I was required to substantiate, and that's what I've been doing.
Thank you.
So, Madam Speaker, as I conclude, so that I can sit, so that it is clear on the Hansard, my comments are as follows. Let us take this opportunity to look at the amendments. Let us try. And if we do not have facts, there are so many institutions in this country that we can seek guidance from. Kenya Bureau of Statistics, to help us so that we can unite this country and not further divide it. I support.
Thank you. What's your point of order, Senator Sakaja?
Madam Speaker, Senator Cherargei is really surprising me. When your colleague stands and talks about...
Are you standing on a point of order?
Yes, that's what you've given
Stand
me.
back, reverence, instead of telling us how surprised you are.
Madam Speaker, why don't you listen to the entire remark I'm making?
Of course we listen, Senator Sakaja. You don't tell us to listen, we listen, we know you. What we are saying is, can you point out the point of order, the standing order you are standing on?
Madam Speaker,
yes.
I don't know what the matter is. Just allow me to make my point of order.
A
point of order has been raised, Madam Speaker, on which Senator Ledama has been asked to substantiate claims about threats to me.
So which one are you referring to yourself?
Yes, I'm referring to that, Madam Speaker. I can show you the standing order.
Yes.
Because, Madam Speaker, everybody who stands on a standing order, you have not asked them to give you the number itself.
You're
starting
from now so that we move in a orderly manner.
Madam Speaker, the standing order provides that every member shall be responsible for a statement of fact. That's standing order 67.
Thank you, that's good.
And I know the standing orders.
Yes.
Madam Speaker, I want to say the following.
Yeah.
First of all, it's unfortunate for colleagues. If you make such a grave, allegation on a member, one of you, it becomes a laughing matter. Madam Speaker, I put it in public record On Friday, I was being trailed by police officers, DCI, KBZ 317W. And I saw them, and they left. I raised it to the Inspector General of Police. He did not respond. Madam Speaker, yesterday, and let me not even talk about the other incident. Yesterday, there were reports of my impending arrest, so that I'm not here today. Madam Speaker, I heard that members in this house know. Some of you know it. Some of you are discussing it. Madam Speaker, I didn't even stay at my own home. I was in this Senate at 5:30 a.m. today. I sat in my car in the basement until midday. That is not a laughing matter, Senator Cherege. Madam Speaker, everybody here knows the kind of vitriol. Let me finish, Madam Speaker, because it's very, very hurting.
Yeah, I'm only having one problem, Senator Sakaja. I wish you came with a statement.
Let me finish. I will bring a statement.
Yes.
Just allow me to finish, Madam Speaker. If it happened to you, you'd be allowed to say it.
I'm saying, while I'm going to allow you to conclude, I'm telling you that you had a very nice opportunity to make a very nice statement.
Madam Speaker, when your life is threatened, you don't think of standing orders. You don't sit and plan.
Okay.
Madam Speaker, this is not a small matter.
Okay.
They was taking out of my house yesterday, the day before yesterday, I saw them. But Madam Speaker, the reason I didn't speak about it is because I knew the objective, and some of you who are strategizing might know, was for me not to come to the house. The person who votes after me in my delegation was told not to come, so that the vote will go on or another. Let me not speculate on that. Now that I have come and have voted, those who want to arrest me, please go ahead, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, you have seen the vitriol, you have seen those banners being put up there for me to change my position. I am not one to be intimidated. I'm the son of Emily Ayoti Kubasu, a champion. I will not be intimidated. I stand for one Kenya. And finally, Madam Speaker, finally, because we've had people saying, oh, we'll expel you from the party, we will do this. I am persuading Senator Pogisho, the leader of majority, who I respect a lot, and the whip, Senator Kangata. You're the leaders. A party position is not an individual's opinion. A party position is not even your opinion. A party position is when you call your members, you caucus, you discuss an issue, you agree to disagree, but that agreement that is reached is binding. I've been a chairman of a party, I know that's what a party position is. But for those who think even you can do 10 more hashtags, it is okay. In fact, yesterday I helped them tweet them. You can even, now you can send, because you're not voting, it's okay. I was born in this town in Ngara, I'm used to this life. I can stay in cells, but I will stand for one Kenya. And the party position that I know, of Jubilee, is the position of one Kenya indivisible. I stand for that, Madam Speaker. So I'm glad, Madam Speaker, that now we have an opportunity. We have an opportunity, Madam Speaker, to look at the proposals which I had brought. The proposal which I've heard Senator Midika talking about, Senator Omatangi, we can harmonize, but this country will move forward together. But those threats, Madam Speaker, they mean nothing, and I'm ready for whatever consequence it is for the price of this country. People have lost more. They've lost lives, not just party positions, Madam Speaker.
Okay, thank you. I see Senator Zani, is she on a point of order also? Senator Sakaja, I was saying you lost an opportunity to do your statement and members would have been able to talk on it, but not now. So we'll not go that direction because we need to agree on a way forward for the decision that we have made. So you'll do that later. Okay, Senator Zani. No, I was just telling you as a matter of fact that if it was a statement, then other members would have made reference to it, but we don't want to direct ourselves in the wrong direction without a motion on the floor. No, can we have Senator Zani? Senator Zani is already on a point of order. Oh, as a contribution?
Yes, thank you, Madam Speaker.
So then the point of order is from Kangata. Matsayo, you are also on a point of order?
Could I proceed, Madam Speaker? Because I'd explained to Senator Lusaka.
You are the next one for contribution. Thank you. You are the next one for contribution.
Thank you.
So allow 2 points of order from Kangata and Matsayo.
Yeah, Madam Speaker, I rise on a standing order that the standing order which prohibits or give a procedure on how a member can bring an issue that is affecting me personally. Madam Speaker, I strongly believe that what my colleague from Nairobi has said ought to have been brought procedurally through a formal statement. Madam Speaker, notwithstanding that, I want to confirm that indeed security of each and every senator in this republic should be protected by the Republic of Kenya. Indeed, my brother from Nairobi, you are entitled to security, and the government does not at all support actions that may be geared to threaten your personal security. However, we must also allow Kenya to thrive democratically. It is the democratic right of the people of Nairobi to express themselves in whichever manner they would want to. And I think as a Democrat, I strongly believe you are going to support that kind of endeavor. Whenever Kenyans, whether through WhatsApp, hashtag, it is their democratic right. Madam Speaker, on that score also, I urge my colleague also to remember we had a parliamentary group of Jubilee Party where we called each and every person. Several members of Jubilee Party, including several who don't support the position of the party, attended. I want to remind Dr. Ali attended. He opposed the party position. Deputy Majority Leader attended. You did not attend that meeting. You refused to attend the parliamentary group meeting. Yeah, it's a fact. So therefore, do not come to mislead the House. Do not come to mislead the House.
Order, Senator Kangata. Senator Kangata, you don't misuse points of order, please. And that's why I'm saying I'll be watching the point of orders. Now, Senator Mazayo on a point of order, and then Leader of Majority, and that's it, so that we make a conclusion.
Asante, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, umuhimu wa bunge la Senate ni kwamba mmoja wetu akishasema ya kwamba maisha yake yako katika hatarini, kwamba anaweza kupoteza maisha kwa sababu ya vile anavyofanya kazi ndani ya bunge, kunao umuhimu wa kwamba bunge la Senate liko na haki ya kuweza kujadiliana ama kuongea kuhusikana na matisho kama hayo. Saa 8:30 tukiingia hapa, kunao ukweli kabisa askari walikuwa wamejaa hapa nje, wanaanza kuangalia watu, na hili bunge hairuhusiwi. Hata mtu kama ndugu yetu Malala pia na yeye tishio kama hilo limempatia. Tutaendelea kwa miaka mingapi? Manake katika historia ya bunge la Kenya tunajua ya kwamba ukishakisiwa kwamba wewe ni mtu unapinga kitu kiki, unasimama na msimamo fulani, unaweza kupatikana katika chaka la Ngong Forest. Wengi wamewahi wabunge ambao wamekuwa wamekamilika wakakamavu kwa siasa, wamepoteza maisha yao ndani ya kichaka kile cha kule Ngong Forest. Hatutaki kuona msemo kama huo ukisemwa ama ukitokea hivi sasa. Sakaja ni kijana mdogo sana, ako na familia yake bado iko ndogo. Sitaki kuamka kesho asubuhi nisome kwamba Sakaja amepoteza maisha yake huko Ngong Forest. We still need him. Tunamhitaji hapa Nairobi. Na ni kijana amejitolea, nishasema hiyo. Ni kijana amejitolea, mhanga, kufa kupona, kuona ya kwamba Kenya iko nchi moja. Na sote sisi tuko hapa kwa sababu ya mgavi wa pesa zinazokwenda katika serikali za mashinani. Uongozi wa upande ule wa walio wengi ukiongozwa na ndugu yangu Pugisho, ni ukweli kabisa kwamba umefeli mtihani. Hauwezi hiyo kazi. Na si kwamba tunasema kitu ambacho hakiko sawa sawa, kiko sawa, Mr. Speaker. Na ninashukuru kwa kumpatia nafasi hii. Kangata hawezi kuconvince hata senator mmoja kwa ile upande wake wa walio wengi kurudi pande kwenda pande yote. Hawezi. Kwa hiyo kuna umuhimu wa kwamba tuwe kitu kimoja ili tuone Kenya imebaki kama nchi moja. Asante, Mr. Speaker.
Senators, I think we should be very clear that we cannot impute improper motive on our members, on each other, unless we have substantive motions. I do not want us to debate the statement that Sakaja is going to bring, because I gave him the offer that he really needs to bring a motion so that colleagues can add or minus what he has said. But I want the last point of order from Gerard Gay. I'm going to rule on the issue of contributions because there is something that is technical about the contributions you are talking about. Gerard Gay?
No, Madam Speaker, I heard Senator Mutula Kilonzo Jr. saying that I should turn to the Lord. I want to confirm to them that I have received Jesus Christ as my personal shepherd. Number two, there is nowhere. Personally, I have been arrested before. I have been intimidated. I have 2 court cases. And I sympathize and empathize with Senator Sakaja. And I hope the agencies that are necessary should be able to address the concern of the one member. Finally, Madam Speaker, what I can say is that it is very unfortunate that today as a Senate we have failed for the 7th time to be able to move forward as a country. Madam Speaker, this is unfortunate. Members, where we come from, we were not elected to come and not to make decisions. I can assure you, Madam Speaker, when we come back, we'll have 47 formulas before this House. I can assure you we'll not be able to make any progress. It is so sad and it's unfortunate for the country, Madam Speaker. We have been having these caucuses for the last time possible. And I want to confirm the words of Senator Mutula Kilonzo Jr. and his company. The other day, they say, if you want to kill us now. Why change the tune now? And yet we had given you an offer through Senator Kangata's amendment last time, Madam Speaker. And therefore, it is very unfortunate that as a Senate, we have failed to make progress. We have failed in our constitutional obligation as provided for under Article 217. Madam Speaker, we were ready to put this matter to rest. And the more we procrastinate as a Senate, it is a bad picture before the public, Madam Speaker. And therefore, Madam Speaker, I'm very disappointed. I have expected the Senate to rise beyond this. And finally, Madam Speaker, many people have argued that it will divide the country. There are many decisions we have made here before. We kicked out Senator Kithure Kindiki. Is Tarakanite divided or the country divided? No. Let us stop this hawkwash we are selling to the public. It is unfortunate that we were not able to proceed. But on the issue of Senator Sakaja, Madam Speaker, let your office take it matter seriously. And I want to urge those people who are trailing to Senator Sakaja that they should just lobby him. He's a good man. They know where to find him. Before curfew hours, they can be able to see him and discuss him and be able to support us. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Senator Bokisho? He is not contributing on this matter. I think he had a point of order.
Madam Speaker, I really
on a point of order.
It's a point of order. Madam Speaker, when we...
Honorable Senators, when you have one person on a point of order, yeah, we allow that person to prosecute, then we'll come to you.
Madam Speaker, you know